Το όνομα μου είναι Mihalis Kritikos, εργάζομαι στην Ευρωπαϊκή.
My name is Mihalis Kritikos. I work for the European Commission in the General Directorate for Research and Innovation. Right now, I am responsible for the European Group of Ethics. It is a European team of experts which was established 30 years ago. Its members have been appointed by the President of the European Commission. We give our opinion on issues related to the ethical dimension of technology. And we delve into a large range of technologies, including genetic engineering, nanotechnology, and, of course, in recent years, artificial intelligence. The mission is to provide an opinion on the ethical issues and dilemmas around these technologies and provide consulting advice to the co-legislators, meaning the Commission and the Parliament, consulting on how these challenges should be addressed. And usually their opinions become accepted and they become an inextricable part of EU policies. At the same time, I must tell you that I am a member of a group that engages and explores the ethical dimensions of AI. We are assessing research proposals submitted to the European Commission through the Horizon program, which manages innovation and research projects. It can be either small projects or large projects. For the next 7 years, we are going to provide technical assistance. I'm sorry, there are some interruptions in the sound and we are not able to hear the speaker clearly. This project, as I said before, is responsible to provide funding for innovative projects. Our mission, our office's mission, is to assess the ethical dimension of proposals selected for funding. We establish teams of experts and we inform the researchers on what they should do, how they should think, how they should plan the research in order to minimize the risk entailed, especially in terms of artificial intelligence. We are trying to raise awareness among the research community on the ethical dimension of all research projects in order to ensure that this project, which is funded by public money, doesn't end up in research efforts that can be risky, then can be reproached. What I would like to say is that the European Union in recent years has been very active in artificial intelligence, and this involvement has many aspects. The key aspect that almost everybody knows is the legal regulation of artificial intelligence, the so-called AI Act. The AI Act is based on the need to manage this technology. It provides a classification of the risks of this technology, starting from zero risk to high risk. And at the same time, it seeks to protect human rights, especially in high-risk AI uses. So there are concrete legal obligations based on the human rights impact assessment. And this type of assessment is something we are currently trying to make more concrete. We want to offer this kind of assessments to research groups, to public administration, to companies who will be called upon to conduct such an assessment, because they should know that some uses of this type of technology entail risks. So there are other legal initiatives as well that are part of this pillar. The AI Act is the most well-known. There is also the political pillar, because there is a need to coordinate the national policies of 27 member states, and this is a major bet for the EU, because some member states are in a much more advanced stage. They have an autonomous policy, their own policy for AI. So this is a challenge in itself, to try to bring everyone around the same table and ask them to comply with the EU policy. But it can happen. It happens. The third level is what I am actually doing. It involves the development of ethical guidelines. So we develop guidelines for specific areas of AI, such as the AI bias. So we seek to minimize the bias of the algorithms used in AI. We try to enhance the transparency of these systems, because we all know that these systems are black boxes, and quite often the reasoning based on which they operate is not easily understood by the average citizen or even the average policymaker. And the third aspect of these guidelines is what I already mentioned, the human rights impact assessment. So we try to identify potential risks for human rights, prevent them, minimize the risks, so we are trying to calibrate them and bring them into a level, a degree which can be managed. Another point I need to mention, besides the guidelines, is that we have the so-called ethical principles, which were developed in 2019. There was a team of experts who said that for any AI system, in order for such a system to be considered reliable, it should meet certain requirements. These requirements are very important. So, such systems should be supervised by humans, the so-called human oversight. Secondly, transparency. And this can be ensured using technical and legal means. Third, the need to protect privacy and personal data, because AI is a data-hungry technology, so it keeps asking for more and more data to train its models, and as a result, a number of this data is probably personal and possibly comes from the social media. Fourth, the environmental cost of AI. This debate has just begun because we understand that in order to train these models, we need huge data centers that have an energy impact, an energy footprint, a rather heavy one. So we should find ways to mitigate that, and we should find ways to align this need with the green transition. And also we need an accountability scheme, an accountability system. If something goes wrong, for example, with a self-driving car, or with an AI system used by a public administration to grant scholarships, or to hire people based on an interview, or if a system is used by a bank in order to grant a loan. So all these systems, if something goes wrong, who is accountable? Who is legally responsible? So I will end here by saying that the efforts of the European Union at the political and legal level are just a part of an international effort from various bodies and organizations to create a reliable system for the management of AI. This has not yet been achieved, but it is important to say that right now there are more than 300 initiatives at the corporate level, at the state level, at the international organizations level. So each one of these actors is trying to develop principles, to adopt some statements, to develop code of ethics for AI. The Council of Europe also is engaged in the same effort. They adopted an agreement on AI, but there are other international organizations that are engaged in this effort as well. At some point, there should be a convergence between all these efforts, because now it's rather complex and Babylonic. And many researchers, AI researchers, ask for guidance, ethical guidance. So we need a harmonization amongst all these standards, all these guidelines. We should have common principles, shared codes of ethics that will help us draw our course in this unmapped area, meaning AI. Thank you.